Hi, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Math with Mr. Williams. Our math lesson set for Tuesday, May 12th, 2020. We have a couple things that we're going to get into today, so let's go ahead and get started. Our first problem deals with seashells and our character Kim, who finds some seashells and brings them home. So I want to go ahead and read our problem slash story, and then we're going to dive right in. While on vacation, Kim collected seashells along the beach. When she got home, she made a puzzle for her sister to figure out how many of each type of shell she found. Okay, so if you look at our picture here, we have three different types of seashells that we found, or that Kim found. But we have two questions. How many of each shell did she find? And how many shells did she find in all? Okay, so those are two questions. How many seashells did she find? And how many of each did she find? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and dive in with our next slide. Okay, so we have our two questions up here. How many of each shell did she find? Oh, looks like we have a minor technical difficulty here. Okay, awesome, we're back. So again, how many of each shell did she find, and how many shells did she find in all? So we're going to go ahead and take a look. We're actually going to make this a little bit easier to see. I decided to bring our screen a little bit closer for us. So looking at our problem here, we have three different types of shells. We have a conch shell, we have a tan seashell, and a dark or black seashell. Now, a problem already gives us how many black seashells Kim found, which is right here, 22. So we know that Kim found 22 black seashells. And in our problem, we are already given one of our numbers that we need to solve our problem here. So we have conch equals black seashells minus 6 equals what? So we're going to start right there. And I'm actually going to take our black seashell. I'm going to swap it for the number 22. Right there. So now my problem says 22 minus 6. Now you can use manipulatives at home. You can use scrap paper. You can use all sorts of different things to help you out, whatever works best for you. But I'm going to go ahead. Now I used to use my fingers. So I'm going to count down 6. So I'm going to count down from 22. 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. So 6, which means our answer of 22 minus 6 gives us 16. So that means that Kim found 16 conch shells. Okay, but we still need to find out how many of our tan shells she found. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plug in our new numbers, 16 and 22, into our problem over here so we can find out our new answer. Okay, so I'm going to substitute our black shells for 22 and our conch shells for 16. Now, this is 22 plus 16, so we're going to add these together. Now, I'm going to look at my ones place first, okay? So I'm going to look at my 6, my 2. I know I'm adding them together. So I know that 6 plus 2 is going to give me 8. So I'm going to have 8 in my ones place. Now I'm going to move on to my tens place. I have 2 and 1, which I know 2 plus 1 gives me 3. Therefore, our answer is going to be 38. I put my answer right over here. So we have 38 tan shells. Okay, I hope everyone's following along so far. And we have one more question to answer here. So it says, how many shells did she find in all? Okay, so we need to find out how many shells she actually found in total. So I want to take 22 plus 38 plus 16, which is going to give us a total 22 plus 38 plus 16 equals 76. So Kim found 76 seashells all together. Okay, so these are the answers for our first question. And this is the answer for our second question. Awesome. I hope y'all are doing well so far, and I hope you're keeping up. So for our next session, I decided to adjust the screen one more time so that you're able to see the screen just a little bit better. And I'm going to be over here off to the side of the screen. But what we're talking about today is time. Okay, here we have 6 clocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 clocks. And next to our clocks, we have the same times displayed here, just in a digital form. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All 6 of these will match to one of these 6, will match to one of these 6 clocks, okay? Now, we have 2 different types of clocks here. We have digital and analog. Now, the only difference is analog has 2 hands that tell you the hours and the minutes for our time. Now, each of our big dashes on a clock represent our hours and minutes by 5s. So if we're looking at our clock here, there's 12 hours shown. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Each of those shows an hour. So our shorthand right here points towards the hour. Now, if that shorthand is between 2 numbers, so for example, number 3, it is between 11 and 12, our hand is pointing right about here, right in the middle. What that means is it's not quite to that next hour. It's not quite to 12, okay? So that means that it is still in the 11th hour. Now, I want to show you what all that looks like in our digital form in just a moment. But each of these larger dashes equals 5 minutes. And we're going to focus on the 5 minutes for this activity and for our next activity. So each of these equals 5. So there's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, because there are 60 minutes in an hour. So for every full rotation of our long minute hand, when it goes from 12 all the way around back to 12, this hour hand moves only one section from 9 to 10 or 10 to 11, so on and so forth. So for every rotation of this hand only moves a little bit, okay? Now in our digital form, it is a lot easier to read and understand. So in our digital form, we have 2 sets of numbers. We have hours and we have minutes. Now some digital forms have seconds, but we're not going to worry about that. So we have hours and minutes. On this side, we have our hours. So we have 12, 11, 1, 9, 11, and 9. On the other side of this, which is called a colon, we have our minutes. So we have 45, 15, 45, 0, which means it's at the top of the hour or the start of the hour, 45, and 15. Okay, so we're going to take a look at our clocks right here. Okay, we have 6 clocks, like I said at the beginning. And each or one of these 6 digital forms of time fits with one of these clocks. So I'm going to give you a little bit of time go ahead and look at it. Okay. Now remember, what I want you to focus on is where the minute hands are. That's going to help you a lot. So our minute hands will help to narrow down which digital form we're going to be using. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at number one. And if I remember correctly, going by fives for each number, that I'm pretty sure 9 is 45, but we're going to take a look. So I'm going to go ahead and count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Awesome. So I was right. The 9 is 45 minutes. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and look over here. I have 1, 2, 3 possible options for 45-minute time frames. Now I have to now look at our hour hand. Okay. So I'm actually going to switch to this screen. So I want to take a look at our hour hand. Now it's between 12 and 1. If you remember earlier, so sorry. So if you remember earlier, I just kind of gave away one of the answers. That I said if the hour hand is between two sets of numbers, so in this case, it's between 12 and 1, not quite to the 1 yet, it is still in that previous hour. So because it's between 12 and 1 and it's not quite to 1 yet, it is still in the 12 o'clock range. So it's still between 12 and 1 o'clock. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look at my answers here. I want to say, which one of my digital times is still between the hours of 12 and 1 o'clock? So we have 12:45, which is still between 12 and 1. Then we have 11:15, not quite. 1:45, that's a little over. 9, that's way past. 11:45, that's still outside of that range. And 9:15, that's way outside of the range. So I think A is going to be my best answer. So let's go ahead and take a look. Outstanding. We have 12:45. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look at number 2. I'm going to go a little bit quicker here with these. Now, remember, each of these numbers is 5 minutes. So I'm going to go 5, 10, 15. So our minute hand is at the 15 mark. And our hour hand is between 9 and 10. It's just past the 9. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look at these over here. I'm going to look, well, we have 9 o'clock, but that would mean our minute hand would have to be like this. Because it's at the 15, we have another 9 o'clock position. It says 9:15. So I'm going to go ahead and see if that's our answer. Boom. Perfect. 9:15 is our answer for number 2. Now, number 3 has the same hand set, or same minute hand, set in the same place as we did for number 1. So that means our minute hand is set for 45 minutes. So now we just have to look at our minute hand, or our hour hand, sorry. Our hour hand is between 11 and 12, which means that it's still in the 11th hour, between 11 and 12 o'clock. So I'm going to come over here. Now we have two times between the hours of 11 and 12. We have 11:15 and 11:45. And if you remember, it's that our minute hand is set at the 45-minute position. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to see which one ends up being our answer. Standing 11:45. So I'm going to go ahead and look at number 4. Again, our minute hand is in that 45-minute position. So I'm going to look at my hour hand, which is between 1 and 2 o'clock. Now it's not quite to 2 o'clock, so it's still in that 1 o'clock hour. We only have one time up here that fits that. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to move that onto our clock. But 1:45. Now we have 2 times left. Now, looking at clock number 5, our minute hand is pointing at the 15-minute position, which means I have to look at my hour hand to now see what the hour is. and it is just past 11 o'clock. So when we look over here, and 11:15 is the only time over here left that is within the 11th hour, between 11 and 12 o'clock. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that one where it goes. And our last one is 9 o'clock because our hour hand is pointing directly at the 9, and our minute hand is pointing directly at the 12, which indicates that it is the start of that hour. So I'm going to go ahead and move that one over as well. Outstanding. I hope everyone followed along and was able to get their time set and straightened. And I hope everyone takes a look at this. If you had some issues or struggled with this a little bit, please reach out to us in our office hours, and we'll be glad to help you out and answer any questions that we have or that you might have. Okay, awesome. We have one more activity to go over. Now, just like the problem that we had just a little bit ago, this has to do with time as well. But we are focusing on the minute hand, not so much hour hand. The hour hand is going to stay in the same position. So I'm going to go ahead, and we have a digital time attached to our analog clock, so that helps us a lot. So I'm going to read our directions first and then look at our clocks. It says each analog clock has a missing minute hand. So each of these 5 clocks is missing its minute hand. Draw the missing minute hand so that it will show the time on the digital clock. If you are showing the time for every 5 minutes, what time will you show on the middle clocks? So we're missing our digital times down here as well as our minute hands. So we're going to go ahead and look at these clocks. So we have a difference from 8:05 to 8:25. We need to figure out what our digital times are and where our minute hands are going to lie. So if you remember in the last activity, I've said that each of these numbers, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, all signal a 5-minute increment. So each of those is 5 minutes. So I'm going to look here. It says 8:05. So that means our minute hand is going to be pointing at the 1, because 1 indicates 5 minutes. So if you have your pencil or your pen or marker or crayon, you can go ahead and draw your line from our little dot here in the middle to the 1. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and switch to a different screen here. So our minute hand should look like this. So see how it's going from the center, pointing to the 1. Okay, so 8:05. Now, remember, we had to fill in those 3 middle clocks, and they're in increments of 5 minutes, not the hours, but minutes. So this number is going to change. So I'm going to think, I'm going to add 5 minutes to 8:05. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to count ones first, and then we're going to count by 5s. Make it easier for the rest of the video. So I'm going to go 8:05, 8:06, 8:07, 8:08, 8:09, 8:10. So 8:10 is going to be our next clock that is going to be shown. I'm going to go ahead and put it up here on the screen. So 8:10 is our next time because we went up 5 minutes. Okay, so we should have 8:05 on our paper, and we should have 8:10 on our paper. And you see, I have my minute hand starting here at the center and going to the 2 because we go 5, 10. Okay, so we're at 10 minutes. Now, we have 2 more that we need to fill in. So if I went up by 5 here, that means we're going to go up by 5 for the next one. So I'm going to count by 5s now. So we have 5, 10, 15. That's right. So our next clock is going to show the time of 8:15. 8:15, look at that. So our minute hand is starting right here in the middle and pointing at our 3 because our number 3 on the clock indicates the 15-minute position. because we start at hour 12, we count by fives. 5, 10, 15. So 8:15, that means we have one more clock to fill in. And then we can finish with our last time. Okay? So we've been going up by fives. So we have 8:05, 8:10, 8:15. What comes after 15? That's right, 8:20. Oh, looks like we have a little difficulty here. Oh, sorry about that. We had a minor technical difficulty. My other computer decided to kick me off of my screen here. So, like I said, we have 8:20 as our next time. So that leaves us with one more clock to fill out, which we'll have right here on the end, which gives us 8:25. So we started at 8:05 and we counted fives to get to our last time. If you look at our two clocks, we have our last two clocks. We have it starting, our minute hand starting from the center, pointing to the 4, indicating 20 minutes. And our last one starting at the center and pointing down to our 5, indicating 25 minutes. Now, as I say at the end of each of our videos, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us during our office hours. They're posted and we are open anytime during those times. And please feel free to reach out. We're willing to answer any questions that you might have. I know this is a concept that we haven't gone over yet, and this is a little bit trickier. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Hope you enjoy the video. Have a wonderful day.